Hi everyone, how are you all? I hope that you are doing well. I have been putting on so much makeup over the past couple of weeks just for like events. This time of year is always really busy, I think, for everyone with the holidays, and then it's also Jared's birthday, so doing things with him and friends and then holiday gatherings on top of that. I did not feel like touching any makeup today and just needed to be like barefaced and talking about something totally different. And so I thought I would take this opportunity to show you guys a little bit more of the Victorian that we purchased in San Francisco. I told you guys a while ago that we moved. Obviously, if you've been watching my videos, you've noticed the background has been quite different. But yes, we moved, in case that's news to anyone. This building that we're in is over 100 years old, but it is very loved, very well taken care of, and you can see that in all the details. It was like high on our wish list to be in a place that had a lot of character to it, and we certainly got that with this place. But I wanted to talk about a few of the things that we have done to our place since moving in. Because the internet can be kind of a weird place, I'm not going to show before and afters, but I will show you guys what it currently looks like, and then anything we do to it from there I will show you obviously before and afters in future videos, because we do have a couple of projects lined up that we're very excited about. So hopefully this interests you and you guys get to see a little bit more of our house and where we're living right now. Obviously everyone's home style is different, so I'm sharing mine today, and I hope you can appreciate that. What would work for you, what maybe wouldn't work for you. Yeah, so jumping right in, like I said, this place was in really great condition when we moved in. There was a family who had been living in it, so definitely well loved, and they didn't do anything before they moved out. They just kind of like packed up and went. And so it needed some touch-up work, but the bones and the structure was all great. So we were really lucky to move into a place like that where we could focus mainly on like cosmetic upgrades and didn't have to worry about anything major. We knew originally when we moved in that we wanted to do the floors. That was high on our priority list. In our previous place we had like vinyl floors, so we were really excited to have hardwood floors again, but the floors in the place that we were buying were stained a really dark walnut, and it kind of made the rooms feel a little bit smaller and heavier, and we wanted to kind of brighten up the place and have like more of a Scandinavian feel, if that makes sense. I really love that kind of like bleached, worn in wood where it looks like someone has been living there for a long time, and there's some history to those floors, and you can see the nails. San Francisco, a lot of Victorians in San Francisco have similar flooring. So we had white oak luckily, and then we had kind of the original subfloor in our kitchen, which I think was pine, which they don't really use anymore, but we were able to match the two pretty well. We had an amazing crew come in here who were very familiar with San Francisco Victorians and told us, you know, yes, we can definitely refinish the floor. Sometimes you can't, depending on how thin the wood is. I think he said we have two more like kind of layers that could be refinished on this floor, so we felt like we were in good shape. He did warn us there could be some creaking. Anytime you make a floorboard thinner, that's a possibility. We haven't really noticed it. It's an old house anyway, so there are creaks before, so not a huge deal to us. So we were like, yes, let's do it, and we're super happy with it. We ended up doing a whitewash, which I was actually kind of nervous about because I didn't want it to look fake. When they first sanded the floors, there was this like almost beautiful like pinky fresh marbling to them, if that makes any sense, and I really wanted to keep that look, and I worried if we did a whitewash over them that they would look like super chalky or too white, and I really wanted to avoid that because I really wanted it to feel warm, and like I said, I wanted it to feel natural and lived in and kind of organic. But we lucked out because again, we had an amazing team and they were able to guide us, and actually Jared was the one who said, I think we have to do the whitewash, I think it's gonna look good. And so we ended up doing that, and I could not be happier. The floors look so beautiful. It is exactly the color that we were going for. We still get this really beautiful marbling of the different tones of wood, kind of ranging from like a warmer, almost like ashy gray tone to then this like really beautiful pink and all the in-betweens of tan and a little bit lighter than tan. It's just absolutely beautiful, and you can see all of the individual nails. That was kind of one quirky thing that came out of it from the previous staining. Is technically, I'm sure there's a crew somewhere who get very detailed and really sand out little nail holes of where the planks have been hammered in, but I'm sure that's a ton of work and that wasn't an option for us. So we knew ahead of time that we would have some kind of dark marks on all of the individual floor planks, but honestly, I think it looks really good. I'm really into the look of it. Again, it just goes back to that lived-in aesthetic. It doesn't feel too precious, although we did like almost cry the first time we saw Moose scratch up our entire floor. He just like ran down the hallway and I could see his nails just like, you know, making that horrible sound. But you know what? They're floors, they're meant to be walked on, they're meant to be enjoyed, and we certainly don't care anymore. If we did, we would drive ourselves crazy. But yeah, so absolutely loving the floors. They did make the rooms feel much brighter, and I feel like overall it was just like the perfect enhancement. The other thing that we invested in before moving in was painting, and so the rooms were kind of like all different colors, and when we had painted our previous place ourselves, we did the walls in white and then left the trim as it was because we didn't want to do the trim detailing work. And it was this really interesting contrast because all the trim was actually like a slightly darker off-white and then the walls were a white, and we really loved how that looked. And what attracted us to this place originally is all of the beautiful detailed trim work, and so we wanted to make sure that it pops. We have some like wainscoting on the hallway, and then around all of the beautiful windows we have gorgeous framing, picture hanging trim all around the ceilings. Again, like Victorians just have so much character to them. And so we really wanted to make sure that we made that stand out more, and we liked the idea of doing a similar color scheme. And so we worked with a really amazing painter who knew kind of our vision and what we wanted, and we had the white that we wanted, which was a warm white, a recommendation from a friend, and we had him go through a couple of different options for the trim to see what he thought would look best to kind of have our vision come to life. And he ended up recommending we go with a color called Natural Linen by Sherwin-Williams, and then the white that we used was Greek Villa, and the two complement each other beautifully. In some lights it almost looks kind of mauve-y, and other lights you can barely tell the difference between the two, and then in a different time of day you can see kind of like the off-white versus the warm white. It's just like the perfect complement for each other, and we're so happy we did it. It really made all the details of our house stand out. We ended up doing the doors that color too, so it's just a really nice contrast, and again it adds this real like warmth and coziness to what otherwise would be just like a plain white house. Obviously painting walls white right now is quite popular, and I'm someone who likes a good balance between like an all white house and then also it feeling like not sterile and making it feel like comfortable and homey. And sometimes when you go like too far white, I feel like it's in the opposite direction where it feels a little bit harsh for me. So I'm super happy with the balance that we found with these two colors, and it just made all the difference. We painted the ceiling the same color as the walls as well, and we're really fortunate. The ceilings we have here are over 10 feet, so rooms just feel so bright and airy, and especially when you have a continuation of the wall color. And, you know, Victorian rooms tend to be smaller, so that height really helps, and I think adding that brightness and having the ceiling the same color as the walls also really helped. So those were kind of our two really big investment products, especially with the amount of trim. The paint was a real investment for us, and the floors were also an investment, but we were super happy we did it. We were very fortunate to be able to do it before we moved in, because those are big projects that you have to take furniture out for, and then with flooring, sawdust is real. There's like a thin layer of dust on everything. Even though the team did such a great job of cleaning up, we still had to clean on top of that. So those were like two really big projects that, again, we felt so fortunate to be able to do before we moved in and really transform the place. Like, it does not look like what it looked like when we bought it. So very happy about that. And then we had a couple of other like aesthetic choices that we wanted to do before we moved in as well. And that was invest in some lighting, and then also invest in window treatment. So like blinds or curtains. The blinds that were here before needed to be removed. They were really damaged, and we have really big windows. And so if we don't have blinds, then it would be sort of like an open house for everyone to see on the street. So definitely needed some good blinds. We went back and forth with doing curtains or blinds, but we ended up choosing to do, I forget what they're called, gosh. We ended up choosing to do honeycomb blinds. They're cordless blinds, and they open up and they open down, and the actual fixture for the blinds sits inside the framing of the window, which is great for older houses or Victorians that tend to move or have like kind of angles, might not have the same width at the top and the bottom, because the actual blinds just like sit inside the framing. So you just kind of pull them up and down. And we had to wait a while to get these installed, but it was totally worth it because they were all custom. We went with a company called Budget Blinds, which I'm sure they're everywhere, but there was one particular in San Francisco that we went out of. They were really helpful, did all the custom measurements. I think it took about 4 to 6 weeks for them to arrive, and then the installation was the next week. So overall, it was a really smooth process, and we're super happy we got them. Because we have such large windows, it's really nice, depending on the time of day, to either have like, you know, them pulled up halfway so that we still get light from the top, or have them all the way open if we want like all the light coming in, or maybe we just want the bottom so that Moose can pop his little head out and watch from the couch. And we ended up getting them in every room. We do need like a little pole to push them all the way up because, again, our windows are really tall, and so we can't really reach to put them up, but that's totally fine. We have a little hiding place for the pole, and the windows work great. I think they had like a 7-year warranty on them too, so really great coverage, and I think they like make the place look really finished. And then the last thing that we did is invested in lighting. Some of it we had already by mistake. I don't know if you guys remember, I have a reel that shows we replaced the lighting in our old bedroom and we put up one of the hay lanterns. And when I originally bought it, I bought a size too big, and I held on to it because I was like, one day I want to move into a place where we can have a massive light like this. And Jared was like, we will never live in a place where a light that big makes sense. But I held on to it, and sure enough, we moved into this place and it was absolutely perfect for it. So we have a really big hay lantern in our living room, which is just the coziest vibe ever. I have been obsessed with hay lanterns for years. We loved the one in our bedroom, and I just don't think you can go wrong with that kind of aesthetic if you want something cozy and homey and like down to earth. The lighting is really diffused, and so it just always feels really comfortable. And then in the hallway, we put kind of like hanging pendant lights. We bought them without being in the place because we bought everything on sale. That was like our one thing, is that we wanted to take advantage of all the sales. So we purchased some of these lights without seeing how they would look in the space. And the hallway, I might have gone a size smaller if I could, but we got these hanging kind of orb lights, and they're really wonderful at night. They kind of like light your pathway down the hallway. They make it feel a lot brighter. And then I had some like inspiration pictures of these like beautiful pink mauve hand blown glass ones that will forever be on my wish list, but these are a close second, so very happy to have them. And then in the office, we put something with as much light as possible because it's mainly used as an office, although it kind of is our guest bedroom too. So we got something that like radiates light from all angles because there's only one kind of small window in there. We chose something modern but still tied into the other rooms, and I'm really happy with that choice. It provides a lot of light, but it's not too harsh if we end up using it as a bedroom, and I just really like the look of it. And I like the height difference between this kind of like big orb that we have in the living room and then something that's a little bit closer fitted to the ceiling with like many little orbs coming off of it. So it's a nice continuity between the two rooms, and then provides some interest in terms of the difference in form and height. So really liked that. In the bedroom, we might be moving this into the kitchen. We haven't decided yet. We got another kind of form of a lantern light. I am big into lantern lights, if you cannot tell. I just love the diffused light that they give off, and again, that like cozy vibe is impossible to avoid with them. So I wanted that for either a bedroom or dining area, but since we like hadn't really established what we were doing for the dining area, we ended up installing it in the bedroom for now. So we'll see if we keep it or if we swap it out and put it in the dining room. We haven't touched a couple of the other lights in the kitchen and dining room just because we're trying to figure out that space. It's like the last little bit that we need to sort out, but we have a few ideas and we'll see how they come to fruition. We're still kind of establishing the bathroom lights and what we want to do there. We are thinking about changing some stuff up in one of the bathrooms, so that will all be dependent on what we do there. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on that. But lighting, I think, is like the most underrated thing you can do to your house. It just, depending on like the light bulb, the hue of it, the warmth of it, it just totally changes the feel of a room. And then whether you go with something diffused or really bright, yeah, it just, I feel like really impacts how you live in a space. And so I'm really happy that we invested in a few pieces that we really loved, one that we had, and then we're slowly kind of changing out the other ones, and we're really trying to be intentional with things that we really like and feel like add to the space and we will enjoy for years and years and years. So that's another tip, is just to go slow. We definitely were like eager to get some stuff when it was on sale, when we felt really strongly about it, but if we were kind of wishy-washy and we weren't sure if it was exactly what we wanted, then it's better to wait, better to really feel it out, better to invest in something that you without a doubt want than to just buy something because it's right in front of you then and regret it later and have to replace it or just stare at it and be unhappy for a long period of time. So I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see a little bit more of our house. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and you want to know the vendors that we used, let me know. I can send their contact information to you. We were really happy with everyone we worked with. We found some great electrical companies. Electrical can be a little tricky in Victorians, and so we had people out here who really knew what they were doing and provided us a lot of solutions that we wouldn't have thought of on our own. So really grateful for all the help that we've been able to have, and then for, you know, the opportunity to get to really put our stamp on a place and make it feel like our own so early on. I think we will be back to regularly scheduled content and makeup related content again very soon, but I hope you enjoyed a little deviation and, like I said, getting to see some more of our house. So wishing you all a very wonderful rest of your day or night. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, it would mean so much if you would subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Bye.